Emir Majid Toufic Arslan was a Lebanese Druze leader and head of the Arslan feudal Druze ruling family. Emir Majid Arslan was the leader of the Yazbaki faction. Majid Arslan was a national political figure with a role in Lebanon's independence, a long-running member of the Lebanese Parliament and a government minister for many times with a number of important ministerial portfolios, most notably defense, health, telecommunications, agriculture and justice. Personal life. Emir Majid Arslan was the son of Emir Toufic Arslan, who helped found Greater Lebanon in 1920. He had 3 brothers and a sister. Emir Majid studied at the famous French school, Mission Laïque Française. In 1932, he married his cousin, Emir Shefhab. She bore him 2 sons, Emir Toufic and Emir Faisal. In 1956, after his first wife's death, Prince Majid remarried Kaula Jumblat. She bore him 3 daughters and a son, Prince Talal Arslan, current head of the House of Arslan and a Druze leader. He was known for his exceptional skills in horsemanship and would often exercise his hobby in a southern village El Magidia, named after him. Political career. Parliament. Emir Majid Arslan ran for parliamentary elections in 1931 and won the Druze seat of Ali Qasar district. His allies also won the elections. From 1931 until his death in 1983, he and his allies would win all the parliamentary elections of 1934, 1937, 1943, 1947, 1951, 1953, 1957, 1960, 1964, 1968 and 1972. Cabinet. Over a period of 35 years, Emir Majid Arslan held various ministerial posts. October 1937, Minister of Agriculture. September 1943, Minister of Health and Defense. July 1944, Minister of Health and Defense. May 1946, Minister of Health and Defense. December 1946, Minister of Telecommunications and Defense. June 1947, Minister of Telecommunications and Defense. July 1948, Minister of Agriculture and Defense. October 1949, Minister of Defense. February 1954, Minister of Health and Defense. July 1955, Minister of Defense. March 1956, Minister of Defense. November 1956, Minister of Health and Minister of Agriculture. August 1957, Minister of Telecommunications and Defense. March 1958, Minister of Agriculture. August 1960, Minister of Defense. October 1961, Minister of Defense. October 1968, Minister of Defense and Justice. January 1969, Minister of Defense. November 1969, Minister of Defense. May 1969, Minister of Defense. July 1973, Minister of State. October 1974, Minister of Health. July 1975, Minister of Health and Agriculture and Housing. Lebanon's 1943 independence. Emir Majid Arslan was the leader of the independence of Lebanon in 1943 when the President Bachar el-Khoury with fellow ministers were taken to prison to Raqqa by the French. 17 after World War I. In 1918, the French established control over Lebanon by virtue of a League of Nations mandate. In 1943, the leaders of the country together with the ministers held a national convention and drew up a national pact stating that Lebanon is an independent country with an Arab aspect. Lebanon is to be led by neither east nor west. No to colonialism. Religious sects to be represented in ministries and all governmental posts. The Lebanese government should bring under its control customs, railways and the Regi tobacco monopoly. The Lebanese government should supervise and control its borders. On 10 November 1943, the French retaliated by arresting the Lebanese President Bachar el-Khoury, Prime Minister Riyad Solh and Ministers Kamil Chamoun, Adel Osseran and Abdul Hamid Karami. The French used Senegalese mercenaries to transport these political prisoners to Rishayu Fort in the Bekaa Valley. Ministers Majid Arslan, Sabri Hamadeh and Habib Abi Shala escaped the arrest because they were not in the homes that night. One of Emir Majid's brothers also escaped to Majid to seek refuge there among members of the Abdul Khalek family. On the 11th of November 1943, Arslan, Hamadeh and Abi Shala created the Government of Free Lebanon, with Habib Abi Shala as Prime Minister and Majid Arslan as head of National Guard. 57. The headquarters were in Bechamoun, a village 30 kilometers from Beirut, at the residences of Hussein and Youssef el-Halabi. Toufic Hamdan and his brother Adel Hamdan spotted the French columns marching from the mountains of Itate, a city on the outskirts of Ain Anoub. Toufic and Adel Hamdan ran back and informed the men of Ain Anoub of the incoming military. The men of Ain Anoub took up arms and blocked the road at the historic landmark Sindiane. When the French forces attempted to remove the roadblocks, the battle began, led by Adib el-Bani, Naf Suja, along with his son Najib Suja, and the only martyr of the battle, Saeed Fakhreddin, and many more men from Ain Anoub. Saeed Fakhreddin climbed on top of the tank and dropped grenades into the tank, sacrificing his life to achieve victory. The fight ensued and liberators prevailed over the French. At that time Majid Arslan declared a free Lebanon from the home of the Halabi family in Bechamoun, where he sought refuge from the arrests. Meanwhile, disturbances and riots raged all over Lebanon. The deputies held a secret session during which they drew and signed on a new flag that they handed over to the cabinet of Bechamoun. On the 21st of November 1943, due to riots, open strikes, the armed rebellion of Ain Anoub and the interference of Arab and Western states, the political prisoners were released. 3. The freed prisoners passed by Bechamoun on the way back home to thank the rebels. Thereat they sang the Lebanese national hymn, and Majid Arslan knelt in front of the Lebanese flag and kissed it. On the 22nd of November 1943, Lebanon was proclaimed an independent state.